Hello, Old School Gamer 1971 here, greetings one and all, especially to you, Millie and Lloyd. Today my third hour thoughts is on Days Gone. I've been playing this game for around 3 hours, and this is what I think. Days Gone by Bend Studio is an action survival horror that came to the PlayStation 4 in 2019. No, it's not a sequel. I do hope, however, that it will become a franchise, as one look at this world and you can see the love and attention that's gone into this title. So fingers crossed, eh? Bend Studio was founded in 1993 in Bend, Oregon, USA. They started off by making Bubsy 3D, a really poor 3D platformer in my opinion. They then made the first Siphon Filter, a great game. Sony acquired Bend in 2000 and they continue to work on the Siphon Filter series. They also developed Resistance Retribution, Uncharted Golden Abyss and Uncharted Fight for Fortune for PSP and PS Vita. Days Gone is the first time they have made a main console game in some 12 years. You play as Deacon St. John, a really good biker's name really, isn't it? A former outlaw turned drifter and part-time bounty hunter who prefers life on the open road to being cooped up in some wilderness encampment. It has been 2 long years since the whole world was ravaged. Humanity was nearly wiped out, turning many into freakers, savage animalistic living dead creatures whose numbers grows whilst mankind dwindles. Still we find ways to argue, fight and kill each other. It is also 2 long years since Deacon has seen his wife Sarah. That at the beginning of the game becomes apparent that he has no idea where Sarah is or if in fact she is still alive. So is this Days Gone a hopeless dystopian nightmare, or is this Days Gone a hippie land gone bad? You see a petrol bomb hit a sign, setting it ablaze, hearing people screaming and in a panic to the outbreak going on around them. The emergency services appear to be having little effect on the rioting people. We pan to Deacon, who is trying to help his wife, Sarah, who has been wounded. Boozer is wounded and comes to see if they are both okay. Boozer and Deacon are in the same biker chapter, you can tell it by the waistcoats. O'Brien is helping people onto a helicopter and at first seems wary of Sarah because of the wound. O'Brien finally agrees to let them board the helicopter to escape the town, but there is only room for 2. Deacon puts Sarah on board, tells her that if he doesn't help Boozer, then he is as good as dead. Deacon gives Sarah a ring and tells her he wants it back. The copter takes off and flies off into the night. Fast forward 2 years, Deacon and Boozer are on bikes, riding through the forest chasing someone. They find a wounded woman. She is dying. When the man that they are tracking goes past on a bike, Boozer and Deacon rush back to their bikes in chase, and it's over to you. This is quite an impactful opening, and whilst not to the level of Last of Us, it does set the scene for the game quite well. Let's start by saying when approaching this game, it should be taken into consideration that this is an open world game set in a rural setting, that the world has been scavenged for 2 whole years, so there is a mess and not a lot of anything left for those who were left behind. Some people have criticised this. I see this as something different and more importantly, something good. This is also a game with a large map, so a bike is required. The world does look outstanding, and sometimes found that I'd stopped playing and was instead just drinking in the world around me. Because it has been 2 years since the outbreak, it feels stark, barren, both inside and outside. This is good, and it makes you wary and mindful of your surroundings. Think about it, a lot of the stuff that would have been left would have already been scavenged, with only a few scraps left to be taken. And whilst this doesn't say have the crispness of God of War nor Marvel Spider-Man, it is its own game and should be judged on its own merits and not what else is available for the PlayStation 4. The world looks abandoned and nature has started to take the world back. It looks degraded. Mankind is slowly being wiped out and the world visually reflects this. There is pockets of humanity trying to rebuild the world in encampments, drifters and gangs just trying to survive, and the freakers slowly taking over, their numbers growing whilst mankind's does dwindle, and it all looks amazing. And then there is the weather that just looks outstanding. It adds to the atmosphere, and more than once my jaw dropped. The first time was for the fog.
Tuck's gonna need something for the bounty. You did the right thing, bro. We don't want to leave anyone to the freaks. Not even a piece of shit like Leon. See if there's anything we can salvage on Leon's bike.
No. God damn it.
What?
Son of a bitch.
Guessing that's the fuel line, unless you just pissed yourself.
Fuel pump.
This again is so good. It's surprising how much the sound affects the gameplay. So please let me explain. We can start with the god awful noise that the freakers make. Sometimes I would stop and listen to gauge how many freakers there were and how close they were to me. You can hear them as they search for humankind. The motorbike is cool, but also another element to be considered. It sounds good but can attract the unwanted attention from freakers, drifters and animals alike. Guns and explosives do the same, so only really use them as a last resort or when you know you can get away. Otherwise you could find a horde between you and your escape. Throwing rocks and stuff as a distraction is a thing and also is as funny as hell when you do this and then stealth takedowns which look both bloody and great. These are all sound related and a cool addition to the game. I like the voiceover, and while some of the characters are cliched, they are well put together and some do have an interesting backstory. Then there is the sound you hear, the horde baying for your blood or anyone else's. Better someone else's, hey. It can be quite unnerving hearing the wolves calling the pack to round them up for an attack. It did catch me out the first time and is also worth a mention. The aesthetics for this game is pretty much spot on. There is no complaints from me here.
A couple days ago, a bunch of rippers blocked the road with an old truck.
Come on, help me move it. Ready?
Yep.
Push!
The movement is damn good in this game. Has some pretty spot on detection. It has to be. You'll often be dodging the horde, humans and animals alike. The controls are easy enough to use and it works, including that crafting on the fly. The bike is an important thing in this game. You won't get very far without it. They've made the maintenance of the bike easy enough. This is good as you will be repairing it often, not forgetting the refueling. Often I may say easy, and it might be easy to use, but it doesn't make it an easy game. I've been caught out a couple of times repairing my bike. I had to lead the freakers away to repair my bike so I could get the hell out of there. When it comes to combat, I feel the silent approach is best when possible, or even avoid combat completely, especially when the horde is nearby. This is all fun and adds to the overall atmosphere. I did find myself assessing the situation and then thinking, to hell with it, I can have them. Finding them chasing me having to lose them or letting the Horde do my dirty work while I watched on from afar. The weapons deteriorate quite quickly at the beginning. This is a problem if it breaks when you are still fighting. So it is always having an eye out for the next one. I like the lawnmower blades. It can be easy to get swarmed, so it's being careful, because it's not just the Horde that can rush you. I would say learn the weapon's effectiveness in a situation. Sometimes having the right loadout is the key to victory, if not survival. In my 3 hours I managed to avoid the large hordes, but I know at some point I will end up being chased by one. And you know something? I can't wait. Yep, let's move along. Oh, you want more? To hear the freakers close by can set you on edge, especially if you can't locate them. Count that you will be outnumbered in most situations, if not outgunned. Sometimes it's choosing your moment to attack and must bide your time till the time is right. Most of the time you do feel under threat, which does mean the game is doing its job. With likeable characters and ones you want to die very slowly, it does a good job of characterization and helps bolster the story. I've seen reviews that this has said the story is long-winded, that it could have paid off sooner. However, I want my payoff at the end of the game. To me this is a good thing. I don't want it given away at the beginning. I just feel that people were down on this game before they ever played it, and maybe for them 40 plus hours is too long. For me, no, it's just right. The weather and time of day affects the world and the atmosphere. Fog and night time close you in, and it does feel quite oppressive. The world feels and looks barren at times. It does make you feel like you are alone. Then someone speaks on the radio. It splits the silence and reminds you you are not alone. Hell yes, there is Big Time, a game that does what this game does. I for one have been waiting for this. It's an open world rural dystopia, with mankind struggling to exist, if not about to become extinct. I get that I have not played the 20 plus hours some other reviewers have put in, that the game has left them feeling underwhelmed. It does feel like they're comparing Days Gone to God of War or Marvel Spider-Man or Red Dead Redemption 2. Whilst it does share many things between all of them, this is its own game with originality in a world quite like no other. To compare them is pretty pointless and unfair to all of the games. This game is exactly what I was hoping for. It feels barren. It's a beautiful wasteland with a pulse running through it. It feels alive. You can see it and hear it all around you as you play. This game might not appeal to everyone. I would argue that this may be the best dystopian world ever. The Bike, a world that feels like it's out to get you, and a story that feels like it's not going to end well for our Deacon. It is different to what I have played before, and it is an experience. Knowing that Horde is just one gunshot away, and once they are onto you, it's hard to shake them off. So it's Days Gone a hopeless dystopian nightmare? It most certainly is. So that about wraps it up. Hope you all have a good day. If this has been helpful in any way, please like, comment, share and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and makes an old man very happy. I post new videos every week. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Old School Gamer 1971 signing off.